They're panicking now, and it's fantastic. So I was reading this thing on X or LinkedIn or something, I can't remember, about Money Manager. And he is just out of sorts. I can't believe this is the stupidest trade war ever. This is the stupidest recession. We don't know if we're in a recession. This is the stupidest, what does he say, market crash ever. It's just self-inflicted wound. And I was like, and then he starts using charts. And I was like, dude, I cannot. I'm sitting there thinking, are you resorting to this crap? Anyway, so he says, look, the GDP per capita in the United States is booming relative to the rest of the world. I'm like, I was like, man, if you have to resort to this, if you have to resort to this, you have lost the battle. And it's freaking fantastic. So you just got to hold the line, dude. It looks like futures are going to be down again today. Down 700 points last I checked. I have no idea what percentage that is relative to the market as a whole. I don't know. But I thought you're a financial advisor. How do you not know? Because I don't pay attention to the daily trades. I just don't. I mean, my goodness. Futures down 700 points. It matters not. It doesn't matter. What matters is, again, do you think your portfolio will be more valuable 5 years from now than today? If you think it's going to be more valuable than 5 years from now today, then hang tight. It's just that simple, man. Anyway, so I'm not going to name this guy, but he posted this thing. I could not believe it about employment sector. The service employment is going through the roof relative to the manufacturing employment. And that's not where we want to be, man. We don't want to be a service-oriented employment. That's kind of like focusing on tourism. You don't want to be focused solely on services. You want to have a more broad-based economic empire, which is services and goods. All right, so we have goods and services. We've had a growth in services like, I even wrote about this in my book, Relax and Retire. Service economy has gone through the roof. Goods economy hasn't done anything, actually. It's sad. And goods economy is where we make stuff. Services, what is our main export other than cash? It's entertainment stuff, music, Netflix, all that crap. That's our main export. Now, we do export oil and gas. I get you. That's fantastic because we have to extract that, which it takes men to work in the fields to do that 100%. We do export weapons and airplanes 100%. However, our biggest export growth, without question, is going to be services, and services consist of a lot of entertainment stuff, and that's just not. And then, of course, cash. That's just not good. Anyway, so my man posts this chart. I could not believe it. He said, but look, even our economy, GDP per capita is growing bigger than China and Germany and all this stuff. Like, are you resorting to per capita? Do you not know what per capita is? It's average. It's average. So let me give you an example. Average net worth in the United States is over 7 figures. It's over $1 million. I haven't dived too deep in this. I just did a cursory look, but it makes sense. Average net worth in the United States is over $1 million. Median net worth is $192,000. $192,000. You see the difference? So when you say average or per capita is roughly the same thing, and you say our average growth per capita of GDP is growing like crazy. Yeah, it is growing like crazy for some groups of people. Wall Street hedge fund managers, tech people, the coastal elite, 100%. I get it. For the average Joe, and we can look at average in this case, the median, it isn't growing by leaps and bounds. The median is getting left behind. This is the issue, and I get it, man. The Wall Street people hate it. Why do the Wall Street people hate it? Because they get paid on assets. It's so obvious, blindingly obvious. If you are managing, we'll just say $1 million, and you get 1% management fee, you get $10,000. If that $1 million drops to suddenly $750,000, now you're getting $7,500 as a fee. All right, your fees have dropped significantly. You're still doing the same, if not more work. In fact, what happens is, this is what happened to me in 2008, which almost sunk me. I'm telling you right now. What happened in 2008 was my fees were dropping like a brick in water because of, the markets were getting crushed. On top of that, I had fewer and fewer people wanting to stay in the market. So not only were my assets being dwarfed, losing 25 to 30%, it wasn't that much because I was never all 100% stocks, but we'll just say I lost 20% of my assets. Not because people left, but because the markets were going down. So if I'm managing $1 million, I'm now managing $800,000 at 1% fee. However, a good portion of those $800,000 was going into CDs and things of that nature, or cash, because people wanted to protect what they had. And now that's a big mistake, but it's human nature, man. And so now my fee-based asset management will just went from $1 million to $800,000 because the market declined. Now it's at $600,000. And literally, that's not exactly what happened, but it gives you a sense of how it works. So now instead of getting $10,000 fee, I'm getting a $6,000 fee. I still got my same expenses. Right? But my fees have been dropped by 40%. And I'll never forget, Michael Kitces had written this in 2020, March of 2020, where people were, advisors were emailing him saying, I'm losing fees. How do I convert into a different kind of fee basis because my fees are way down because the market's crashing? I'll never forget that. And I said, man, I didn't like that at all. I said, what? I thought fiduciary meant good times and bad times. You're supposed to ride the wave, which meant if you're a financial advisor, you're supposed to be prepared for fees to climb because the markets don't always go up. And then that just because the markets came back strong, 30 days later, that kind of went under the rug. But here we are again. Anyway, and seeing these Wall Street guys panic, I'm freaking loving it. Oh, but don't you know? No, dude, I'm telling you, man, you've had a nice run for a long time. Wall Street has had a nice run for a long time. We can go back to being a more broad-based Main Street and Wall Street serving each other, as opposed to freaking Main Street getting the short end of the stick and Wall Street making all the money. That's what we need to go back to. And the fact that the Wall Street mavens are panicking, dude, that doesn't bother me in the least. It doesn't at all. And I'm losing money too. My portfolio, I got a bunch of cash. I still got a bunch of bonds. So my portfolio, I haven't looked. But I haven't looked. I imagine I'm down 15% or something. Probably not. Probably 15% or something like that. Okay. 15%. Oh my goodness. But I'm not leveraged. I suppose you could say I'm somewhat leveraged because I still have some debt on my mortgage. But that's it, man. Tons of equity. At the end of the day, who knows if I'll be around a year from now making any money? I don't know. But what happens is at some point, you've got to tell people we need to have a more balanced economy. And balance means Main Street's got to generate the wealth too, not just Wall Street. And the fact that the Wall Street people are freaking out, I don't want to say I can't lie, I'm a little bit happy. The Wall Street guys, I can't stand, dude. I can't stand them because they're fakers all around. They don't have any, just look at long-term capital management. The algorithms, the Nobel Prizes, the freaking hoity-toity good time rock and roll plastic banana guys. You know what I'm saying? They don't do anything. And I used to work with a couple of these guys, and they're making obscene amounts of money. And you're just like, how? It's all speculative. I said, this isn't the way the markets are supposed to work. The markets aren't supposed to grant massive rewards to speculation. The markets are supposed to be, and like Jack Bogle says, I invest because I believe in the growth, the long-term growth of a company and the country. I don't invest like a freaking sports book. And that's where the markets have been for a long time. It's been a sports book, essentially. And not all the markets. The S&P 500 isn't a sports book, but just these guys, these Ray Dalios and George Soroses and freaking, who's the other guy I'm thinking about? What's that guy's name? Bill Ackman. That's not investing. That's speculating. And taking on the chin for speculators doesn't bother me. All right, God bless. Love your thoughts. Smash that like button.